Tonight on Open Line, we are talking about efforts to legalize marijuana across the state of Tennessee. I want to get right back to the phone lines. We have Wayne on the line joining us. Wayne, don't forget to talk into your headset, but go ahead.
Hello?
Hello, go ahead, Wayne. Okay, we can't hear Wayne and we're running short on time. So Kevin, I want to talk to you really quickly about polling and what that looks like in the state of Tennessee. How do Tennesseans feel about passing marijuana?
Well, just like we're seeing everywhere else across the country, we're seeing an evolution on this. And in fact, we heard that very sad story just from the lady who was at Middle Tennessee State University and got arrested and ended up going to jail. Well, Middle State Tennessee University did a poll in 2018. And in that poll, 44% of the respondents wanted legalization or legalization with medical as well. And then 37% also wanted just medical. So at that point, 81% of people wanted some form of access to legal cannabis in Tennessee. But just this year, Civics has done a nationwide poll, and that showed that 67% of Tennesseans supported adult use cannabis. So we're seeing, just like we are all across the country, the attitudes and the opinions of Tennesseans shifting towards wanting to get away from prohibition.
So it makes me wonder, and I've always wondered this, if it boils down to the fact that we can't even get a bill out of committee, is it that lawmakers don't want an opponent saying this guy or gal voted for drugs?
Well, I think it's, every state can be a little bit different. For example, in Louisiana, where I cut my teeth on this, we have term limits. So at a certain point, you're getting new blood in. It may not always be young blood, but it's new blood and newer ideas. And I know, for example, Randy McNulty, the governor, he's been in the General Assembly since Ronald Reagan was in office. So, I understand certainly that when you're looking at elected officials that have been in office for decades, that, maybe quite simply they just, they have a mindset and they don't really want to move on that. And that's, and so hopefully with time, we see evolution of politicians all the time. I witnessed it firsthand in Louisiana. We had one of our biggest opponents that fought against medical cannabis for several years. He is now one of the biggest champions of it because once it became legal, he saw an ant that benefited from it. So, I never close the door on anybody, and always looking forward to seeing politicians evolve on this topic.
Let's get back to the phone lines. John has been waiting quite a while. John, I hope you're still with me. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to say that I think alcohol is way worse than cannabis or marijuana, whatever you want to call it. Marijuana really helps me with pain and stuff. I'm 65 years old, and I have a lot of pain, with arthritis and medical problems and stuff, and it really helps me, and it seems to me that alcohol is way worse than marijuana, and I don't understand why marijuana is not legal and alcohol is.
Yeah.
And also it's been proven marijuana can help a lot of young kids out with medical problems and stuff, and I just wanted to put that in there.
All right. Thank you, John, very much for hanging with us to tell your story. Kevin, do you find that, just like you were talking about the legislator down in Louisiana, it takes a personal experience, seeing someone that they know and love use marijuana and find help?
Another example was we had a state senator whose favorite nephew, because we didn't have access at that time, he left Louisiana. And there are a lot of what we call cannabis refugees who have to move to other states to get access to the medicine that they need. And I think we've talked a lot today about pain and the different things that people usually associate with this. But how about all the returning veterans coming back from 20 plus years of war with the physical and mental scars that combat gives? And we're seeing a lot of very positive results from veterans and also just people with traumatic experiences able to better deal with these issues with cannabis. So I think that's an important point that I wanted to make sure that we heard, because I know Tennessee has a large veterans population.
That's true. Okay, Carl is on the line. Carl, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to say that I've been smoking marijuana since I was 17 years old, and I never got a ticket, never been charged with marijuana, no alcohol charges or nothing, because I smoke it in my own house, in my own yard, and I'm in perfect health. I got all of my body parts, nothing took out. And I think that marijuana has a whole lot to do with a person's body on everything, any kind of sickness, disease. And I've been blessed, and I love my marijuana. And I'm also on a pain doctor right now, and they give me opiates. And because I smoke marijuana, they don't want to give me no pain medication. Mm-hmm. So I got to quit smoking marijuana now just to take opiates, drugs, and I don't like them. They used to make me take morphine, and I told them I wasn't going to take morphine. I didn't like it and wasn't going to take it. So I quit taking that, and they quit giving it to me, and that's good. But I think recreational marijuana should be allowed. If a man or people smoke it in their house, in their yards, not out in public in front of small kids and stuff, I mean, that wouldn't be right, because they're small and they don't understand it yet till they grow up. But I think marijuana is good for everybody. I don't have no problem remembering things. I don't have Alzheimer's or nothing like that. I mean, I love marijuana, and it helps me to stay alive.
Well, Carl, thank you for calling in.
Okay, thank you.
You have a good night.
I hope we can get a medical bill passed so people like Carl can have access to safe medicine.
Kevin, let me ask you this. I was in Michigan. I was working there when the medical marijuana passed there. And many opponents of it would say, you know, what about people driving under the influence on our streets? And that was really a strong fear that crime would be more crimes would be committed, and that there would be a ton of people on the roads who were impaired because of marijuana. How do you respond to those fears?
Well, I mean, you know, those years ago, that was a true, real concern. But the fact is now with 37 medical states around the country, we see the fact that the sky is not falling. We see the fact that actually in medical cannabis states, traffic fatalities are lowered, and that actually it has no effect on crime. So, you know, now. And they have drug recognition experts. Law enforcement are trained on that. You know, usually in areas you'll have a certain number of them. If an officer suspects that you're impaired driving, they can give you a field sobriety test. The same way that they can do a field sobriety test to see if they think that you're under the influence of opiates or benzos or any of the other pharmaceuticals that have psychoactive
properties. Yeah.
Properties. Thank you.
Let me see if we can squeeze in one more caller. Bob is on the line. Bob, you're going to be our last caller of the night. Go ahead.
Hey, is this me?
It sure is. You have the floor. Go ahead.
I've been listening to the last 15 minutes of the show on my phone waiting for you. Hey, I just want to say thank you guys for bringing this up, you know, tonight and everything. You know, 30 years ago, y'all wouldn't have been able to done this.
That's true.
You know, it would have been shut down. And I just want to, I guess I want to say it's all got to start at the federal level. And we've got representatives that we vote for every year. And, you know, I don't know if y'all know or not, but y'all had a poll tonight, in a way, And overwhelmingly, everybody was in favor, in favor of, medical decriminalization, and if it goes to recreational, and who knows, taxes. Everybody needs money right now.
Well, you're right.
But anyway, just thank y'all for doing that, okay?
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. Kevin, we have less than a minute to go, and I want to give you the floor to end this show. What would be your message to the people of Tennessee?
Get involved. Engage with your lawmakers, bring up cannabis reform. And also, if you're ever looking for information, we have tools on our website, which is mpp.org, and we actually have a policy section that breaks down to states, and you can go and get updates, and we even have tools for you to be able to engage your legislators right on our website. Go to the Tennessee, it's a map. You hit the map of Tennessee, and we'll give you some updates as to what's going on, what kind of bills have been in the past, and ways to get in touch with your legislators.
Kevin, thank you for joining us tonight. You've been a wealth of information.
It's my pleasure. Always welcome to come back.
Perfect. We'll be right back.